So Timothy Weah is having doubts about joining Forest. Welcome to your transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up on today's video, I'll tell you what's going on in the head of Timothy Weah. Why is he having doubts, and are Forest doing anything about it? I'll tell you about a centre-back that Forest are about to put a bid in for. And if we've got time, I'll give you the latest on Nico Williams and his contract situation. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And if you want some more exclusive content, go check us out on Patreon. Scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. The latest video on there is about the whole Europa situation. And despite what's happened to Lyon and Palace and Textor selling, Forest still have a chance. So go check that out afterwards. Okay, let's jump into the news. And let's kick this off with Timothy Weah. Look, I've made no bones about it. He hasn't excited me as a signing. Samuel, for me, is more exciting out the two of them because of the potential he has. But now these noises coming out from Timothy Weah, from his camp, that he needs to be sold and convinced on the project at Forest. He also seems to be a bit of a money merchant, if the reports are true. He's currently on about £2 million annually, and he wants to double up to 4 million. So he's going from 40k a week up to about 80k is his requirements to join Forest. Like, seriously, you're bench warming. Well, you're not really bench warming, but are you going to be? Is that what you're worried about? Like, let's break this down. He's at Juve. Big club, big reputation, good rich history, and what have you. But I reckon what he's thinking is if he comes to Forest and Elanga's still at Forest, he's turning into a bench warmer, potentially. Now, I understand that logic if that is indeed his logic. But if you're a player playing for Juventus, if you're a player that plays internationally, okay, it's at USA. I would want players coming into Forest to have that belief and ego and arrogance about them. Say, yeah, I'll come, and you know what, Elanga, get comfortable on that bench. Make sure you got a pillow because I'm taking your place. That's the kind of attitude and approach I want from a player. I don't want a player who's like, yeah, you know what, I'm not really sold. So, put me out a nice PowerPoint presentation as to why Forest would be the right move for me. And then while you're at it, double my salary. Like, if this is his attitude towards it, like, what we doing here, man? This isn't a prime Ronaldo we're trying to recruit, right? This is probably just a backup for Elanga, basing on what happens with his future. And I think right wingers are a dime a dozen. There's plenty of them to go after. So if he doesn't want to come, yes, I know the deal's cheap and everything. Stop wasting our time. As in, Forest, stop wasting your time on it and just move on to someone else. Get Samuel in. I like the look of him. But this guy, I'm not even that sold on in the first place. But let me run you through the report so you guys can see it for yourself. So it's from Tutto Sport over in Italy. And what they're saying is Samuel Mbangula and Timothy Weah are in exactly these conditions. They are waiting for the transfer to be finalised while they individually negotiate their positions with Forest. Yes, they also made new contracts and made initial explorations with players. The English club's priority was to understand the room for manoeuvre on salary, the methods and figures, which will be suitable, which will be substantially modified. Man, glasses, Tuesday, hurry up. Especially those of Timothy Weah. The American still needs to be convinced. This is the important bit. While the Belgian winger sees the possible transfer as a potential opportunity, since Tudor's arrival, he has only had 4 minutes of play, so the Premier League call becomes a rescue for his ambition. Now, I actually like that attitude from Mbangula. That's the type of player I want. Someone who's talking with some confidence, with a bit of chest, saying, you know what, it ain't really working for me here at Juventus. So if I'm going to go and get minutes and, really get to the maximum of my potential, I want to be in a position or in a team that I feel that I have a chance to fight for that position, get some minutes and prove my worth. I like that. I'm sold. on Mbangula. On Weah, not so much, not so much. But again, these reports may not be true. They may be driven by agents trying to, ramp up the money, trying to make him hard to get and what have you. And I'm not sitting here saying, look, if a player doesn't want to come to Forest, I don't want him, right? Because that's not really my stance. I know there's been plenty of times where I've said that about certain players, but there's levels. If Forest, say, let's just use, I don't know, Gyökeres as the example now. If Gyökeres didn't want to come to Forest and Forest needed to convince Gyökeres to come to Forest, that's fine with me because of what he can offer on the pitch. But if we're talking about a bloody Weah, who, in my opinion, is coming as backup, and he's there sitting there saying, I need to be convinced. Well, mate, I'm not wasting my time on you. That's what I mean when I bring in, like, should these players be wanting to play for Forest? If you're at Weah's level, your attitude should be different to a Gyökeres or whatever. I'm just using Gyökeres as an example. I'm not saying he's coming for Forest, but you get my point. Okay, so that's the update on Weah. Now, let's move on and talk about a defender that Forest are about to put a bid on, according to a lot of reports right now. And that is the Georgian Saba, I'm going to try and say it, Gogolichidis at Empoli. Very young player. He's 21 today. Happy birthday to you, Saba. And there's potential for a cheap deal here for Forest. Empoli are looking for 10 million euros, about £8 million. Talks are Forest are probably going to bid around £7 million, which is chump change at the moment. But is he good enough? He's a centre-back who can play a bit at right-back. Very young, very kind of rough around the edges. I'm not sure he suits the style Nuno plays because he's quite a aggressive defender, likes to be on the front foot press. He's quite tall as well. And despite his height, he's quite nippy in terms of mobility as well. But he still has a lot to learn, and this would be another project centre-back. With Empoli, I think they got relegated as well, so there'll be players that are ready and willing to leave there. I don't think this will be a Weah where it's like, convince me to come. But there are interest from a couple of Italian clubs. I think Udinese are interested in him, and there's 2 other Premier League clubs interested as well in Newcastle and Sunderland. So, look, again, does this one excite me? No. But I'm starting to slowly make my peace with the names that we're being linked to in terms of caliber, in terms of quality, in terms of establishment. Forest is still going through the phase, and I think it's clear to see from the recruitment strategy this summer that we're still looking to buy potential on the cheap, see how they pan out. Maybe some of them, will have huge resale value. Murilla's always the kind of golden example on that. And then see if we can develop them into quality players. If that's the model, so be it. I mean, what can I do to change it? But I still do argue that we need a name or two that can go straight into a team that we can trust to really kind of push the bar up and move the needle forward when it comes to Forest. So expect a bid to go in for him shortly. This is being reported in quite a few places, and I think it is going to happen in terms of a bid. Whether or not he chooses Forest will be a whole other story. But yeah, that's the exciting centre-back news. Now, does this mean, for example, that it's an indicator that Forest are moving away from Jair Cunha over to Saba here? I don't know is the answer. I've had no updates on Jair Cunha. I don't know what the current state of play is. I saw John Percy put out an article the other day saying that he still expected Jair Cunha to join Forest. I think it's still very dependent on what happens with the Club World Cup. But you can't really... Do I see a world that Forest signs Saba, Jair, you've got Tyler Binden coming in, they've just renewed the contract with Bolly, you've still got Morato as backup, you've got Carmo coming back from Olympiacos from his loan period. Omar Richards, man, I swear to God, 3/4 of this team feels like they should be playing in a back four. So, like, are we going overkill on these centre backs? And we still need another left back, by the way, as well. So, is it exciting? No. But hey, the news is the news. I can only report it, don't shoot the messenger on it. And speaking of current Forest players, it's reported that Nico Williams has signed a new contract with Forest. We told you a few days ago that this was getting very close with him and with Ola Aina. It looks like the ink is dried on Nico Williams first. Excuse me, with the expectation of Ola Aina to come next very shortly as well. And I'm happy with this one. I think he's proved himself this season to be a very good asset to Forest. And, you know, let's hope he continues to grow and develop. But guys, that's really the bulk of the news for you. I wish I could hype it up and make it more exciting. But I guess the good news I will give you is that Samuel is happy to join Forest. It looks like that one's going to flow through nice and easy. Weah, you need to like sort your priorities out, mate, is what I'm going to say. And a defender that probably most of you never heard of could be bid on Forest. That's the news. If you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new to Forest Fan TV, and go check out my thoughts on what's about to happen on the whole Europa thing over on Patreon. Shout out to all the Patreonees that are supporting us over there. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.